Hello, my name is Sophie Andrews and this is a video of me discussing my journal looking at the first week of project framing and specifically David Shearing's second video that he made us, which is looking at his piece of work that he created, and also I'll be connecting it to when we went to see the White Cube gallery and the instalment that they had at the time. So David Shearing created two videos for us, one of which he discussed audience and proxemics, and then the second video was he was describing his work that he'd created, his piece of theatre. So in the first video he basically explained and described and gave us lots of different examples of immersive theatre, which I found really interesting, and it's definitely something I'd like to look into. As a form of theatre. I think it's really I find it really intriguing, and all the different kind of ways what you can do with immersive theatre is there's so much you can do with it, and the history behind it as well I found fascinating. And so he went to describe about the audience and proxemics, and at what point are the audience sort of a part of the piece of theatre and a kind of more of the kind of stereotypical audience member, and I feel like playing with that would be really good fun. And he then went on to describe his piece of work, which was called The Weather Machine, which he described as an environmental piece of theatre, which is I thought was very fitting for that name, because it is so focused on the audience being within the environment that is created or was created by David. And I thought that as an environment, because he showed us video clips and he described it as well for us, I thought it was very much that he'd created this environment for the audience to walk in, and again played with are the audience part of the piece, or are they an audience member walking through this piece of theatre. And I just love the way that he used lighting and sound as a way of isolating the audience, as well as taking the audience on a journey throughout this piece, because what he designed and created and used was these. I've drawn a sketch here in my journal of he used these symbols that were hanging along the ceiling, and obviously rain drops down on them, and not only did it create this rain effect of ways to kind of encase the audience, but also it was this amazing kind of immersive sound with using the symbols and the rain tapping on the symbols. And I think I would have loved to experience it in real time, but seeing it and on a screen was just as effective, because it's like, that's just such a cool idea, and I thought it was really amazing. So then connecting that to when we went to see the White Cube in the gallery, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. We were sent over the tickets, and they just looked, it didn't explain a lot at all. It was just kind of, this is your ticket, and show it to the people at the door and in you go, sort of thing. And prior to that, we'd just been to the Fashion and Textile Museum to see Trisha Guild's work, which was very sort of gallery-esque, and very much kind of, you knew exactly what you were seeing and whose work it was. And whereas the White Cube, we walked in and it was just, again, it was very, I would say, borderline environmental theatre, because it was so there wasn't any kind of descriptions anywhere of what we were meant to kind of, I suppose it wasn't spoon-fed, which was quite nice in a way, as a contrast from going one to the other. And we literally just walked in and we could kind of think for ourselves, but kind of have a think of how we actually felt about when we were walking through. We walked in and there were these really lovely log burners, whether that was heat or actually part of the whole environment, I don't know, but it worked, because it was a lovely kind of like warm feeling, and there was no natural light at all going in to the building. It was all manual, and either from these log burners, or then we walked into this massive hall room thing, which is all white walls. So a very fitting name for White Cube. We walked in and there were these sort of short cylinders filled with leaves and plants, which I will put in the presentation and so you can have a look at the pictures. And I'd never seen anything quite like it before. I loved it. I thought it was great. I liked the lack of explanatory stuff everywhere. I just thought it was just a lovely environment to walk through. It's very quiet. There was no one said a word, no one spoke. And it was just this goes from one instalment which was very, very bright and very green but almost quite futuristic in a way, kind of like, it was everything was very circular and very green, and it was almost like a kind of a future sort of environment of some sort. And then we went across into this other room, again following these log burners, which had these huge sort of paper square, all made of triangles, and it was like, which had light kind of glowing from within. And again, it was just really, really something to see, and there was definitely an atmosphere that was created through the use of what they put into this instalment. I think there's a different feeling that you get between looking at something that's bright and colourful like Trisha Gill's work compared to then seeing this, which was just so subdued and so calm. And obviously with possibly the use of the nature that was within this piece helped with that. It was either wood or leaves and paper, so there was possibly a connection there, because when we first walked in there was just this huge tree that was there growing with all this kind of, it was, I think kind of connecting the dots a bit is obviously there was a kind of a quite a natural feel to the whole piece, which is lovely. Really, really liked it. And it's hard to explain, but hopefully the photos will give a bit more of a feel for what I'm trying to explain a bit. But how it made me feel personally was very relaxed and very sort of just kind of quite calm walking through the whole piece. So connecting the two together, this White Cube and David Shearing's Weather Machine work, in the sense of like they both directors created this environment completely, and it worked. It really well. I personally felt it really worked as when you create an environment, and so I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would love to experiment more with creating environments and looking into immersive theatre in the future. Thank you for watching.